All right, welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified podcast. Today is October 27, 2024. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Yo, 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 it's your boy. It's been a big week. Haha.
Giga.
um, yeah. Giga. But yeah, I have been enjoying the beginning of the Halloween event too. I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, man, it's been a heck of ups and downs in the game, I should probably say. More than anything, there's just a lot going on in the last few days. Gigamax Pokémons, I think that's what it's called. Gigantanmax Pokémons. I don't know why I blanked on that one. Anyways, yeah, but we're here once again to talk about Pokemon Go news, updates, and ranting about the game because we love the game just as much as everybody else. Make sure that everybody checks out that we are part of Pokemon Professor Network. Wonderful people to work with every single time. Make sure that you are always checking every single show. We even added After Darkrai. Lore Up has already been there. Special Conditions, Purified Podcast, Sleep It Off. Please check that out. And Way Spotters Podcast too. So definitely a lot of things to check out, if anything. But we appreciate everybody support and everything that you guys do. We do have a exclusive network and Discord that you guys can join for us for $1 a month. So make sure you check that out. But if not, just go to the PokemonProcessNetwork.com, just like anything else. All right. Well, it's been a week. It definitely has been a week since we last podcasted. Luckily, we don't have any more disasters going through, and I think we are back to normal scheduling, right, Chris?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. But of course, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Just like Chris mentioned, we have the start of the Halloween event. We have Gigantamax Pokemon's debut. And the community is at disarray just because of how things has gone since day one, or at least since the minute that we found out anything. Regardless of how, maybe I think that there's a potential for a lot of different things to happen with this new mechanic. And definitely something that a lot of people are going to be mad about for days to come. But let's just recap some of the things we got, Chris. Chinese Handos PvP months. What you got?
Yeah. Not a hundo, but I was excited to get a 98 Grookey today.
Ooh.
So let's go through everything else. Oh my gosh. Last week I talked about a shiny Mankey I got. I got another shiny Mankey. I'm like, bruh, the community day is coming up. I don't need I don't need all these shiny Mankey. And then at the house, I logged in to check some kind of shiny that somebody was flexing, and I was like, "Oh, you want to compare?" And I got a shiny Banette that was at the house, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
Jesus. All
Yeah,
right.
I was like, "Hey, it all worked out." Got a shiny Venonat, Go Plus to shiny Krogunk. I hatched a shiny Wynot, which after I hatched the shiny, there was like 3 or 4 other Wynot like back to back after that I kept hatching. So I thought it was funny. I was like, okay, I was gonna get a shiny Wynot one way or another. Got a shiny Shuppet, and I was at Halloween Horror Nights and I got a shiny what's it called? Swinub. I think I might have had a shiny Zora run because it said dash ran instead of the Pokemon that I have walking ran.
Interesting.
So I'm like, but I mean, I already have like 2 shiny Zora, so I'm not super worried about it. But it is a fun one to get. So
Of course, you get the shinies, and
I
I don't
think
get
that's
those
fun.
shinies. But of
Oh
course.
my god, they'll be out. They'll be out.
Now, let me ask you right before I go into my haul here. Did you do any Gigantamax raids this weekend?
Tried to yesterday.
Okay.
There was not as many people at HHN
Okay.
playing Pokemon Go. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think people should definitely enjoy the places they're at and everything. I will say I was kind of surprised though
Yeah.
that there weren't more people doing it. I think the only one I saw that might have had enough people do it was in the park, right at the end of normal, like people,
Mm-hmm.
and before the HHN people got in. So obviously you can't remote to it.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't able to get in the park yet,
Yeah.
which that isn't me like harshing anything, but I was like, I cannot touch this raid. So I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if they had enough people though. I just know there was definitely people hopping in it.
Mm.
I know I tried to do it with like 7 or 8 people, just because I wanted to test it out, and I know it doesn't take away your battle points or whatever.
Max
Um,
Mac particles.
Max particles, that's what it is. Um, yeah, I know it doesn't take it away unless you win. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see what we could do, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us at least were like doing some damage. We only did like 5%.
Oh God. Yeah.
So I was like, what?
Well, when you said that it was 7 to 8 people only, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
No,
that's
I wasn't
horrible.
expecting to win
Yeah.
really, but I was curious how much damage.
All right. All
Oh
right.
my gosh, it was brutal though.
Yeah. So let's just get into my stuff because things have happened.
Yeah.
Also, everybody who's in the chat right now, I know there's some lookers out there, so I appreciate it very much. At the same time, People Got and Strong Barris, thank you so much for joining us in the chat. It it's, it is how it is. Anyways, we had an eventful few days. Let's start with the shinies. I don't have just out of the bat. I don't have any Hondas. Like no extra Hondas since the
What?
Jam Mass Day. Surprise, surprise. But the shinies have definitely been come through. So, shiny Slowpoke is Spinora from the Go Plus, 2 Absols from the Go Plus, and then I was able to get both a Charizard and a Venusaur Gigantamax shiny. I was almost so close to get the Blastoise too. If there was only a couple extra Blastoise out there, it would have been nice. But that's how it is. Man, we got a lot of people watching us today. Thank you so much, everybody. Also, thank you so much for the subscription, Strong Libraries, for your 3 months in advance. Wow, that is a lot. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, it's. And then I got a shiny Pinsir tray with somebody that I was waiting to do in the community in a while. So one other thing here and there. It's a Purified one too, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So recapping as how the event has gone. Let's first and foremost let's go how. Let me just make sure I'm seeing something. How did the Halloween start? Has liked you. I mean, I think it has liked me because of all the shinies. I'm still looking for the Sora for sure. But I the very first day we got the Halloween background, which we can't see in the map right now, but then there was something that made them pull out for maybe I got was 24 hours, I think. And we didn't have
Yeah.
the background for a little bit. And that's because I think there was some kind of glitch or something, so they wanted to make sure everything was okay. Luckily, it was a quick fix, and we didn't really have to worry about it too much afterwards, so that's great. And then after that, it's just been, hunting this Ghastlies, hunting the max particles, the max rates, any other shiny that we actually got through. We do have this time research for part 1 that we were able to technically buy, the $2 and $5 one. I got like the bundle with the extra incubator in the web store, and I was able to get both of the tickets there pretty easily, which was like the same price with just the extra incubator. So you're actually gaining more from that. So if you actually want to, the word I'm looking for, if you want to actually get some good stuff, go to the web store. That's actually the best way to spend your money when it comes to Pokemon Go. Don't spend money, but anyway. And then after that, we had Gigantamax raids. So let's just get that out of the way. What do you think about Gigantamax raids, Chris? Or max battles, I should say, probably.
I think they're fabulous. I think a nice challenge that everyone has to get together for can definitely be a good thing. I will say I definitely did not plan it accordingly
Yeah.
this time, but Yeah, my biggest thing, I was gonna go out today and do it, but I was just too tired, so that's on me. I do think if I went to Disney Springs, I should have been able to do at least two.
Okay.
But yeah, I personally I think they're a good thing. I was thinking about it, and back in the day, when we had EX raids and everything, you needed at least 3-4 people to do a Mewtwo. So I don't think it's like super different. I know the amount of people is definitely a lot higher, but even back then we had like a good amount of people doing Mewtwo. So I think
So,
for Gigantamax there should be a lot more people.
so
Um,
yeah,
I just think the vast amount of Gigantamax raids was a little bit hard to determine where people were gonna be since you need so many people for that.
okay. So I got a lot of strong opinions when it comes down to the actual release of this. First and foremost, I think it's a great mechanic. Like, I'm gonna say that right now. I think that getting the community together like this has probably been something that we've been waiting to do. A lot of other features have been kind of pushed in the way that everybody can just do it on their own. Everybody can just go ahead and try to solo this game the much as possible. I mean, sometimes you do need people to do raids. That's not that doesn't change on anything, but we got remote raids too, and things has that changed that just doesn't seem that we require the community as much as we used to back in the day. This changes that because we do need a community. We do need a strong, powerful community that invests in the game in a way that nobody has ever invested in a while. And the first time I started seeing the reports on Twitter, X, how everybody in New Zealand and everything, they're like, oh, we can beat this even with a full lobby of it. We have to restart like 5 times to even get to that point. It's understandable. It's understandable that those things happen because you think that it's going to be as the same as what we had before. We went from a big jump from 1 star to 3 star to 6 star Gigantanmax battles. That was a huge jump that nobody was prepared for. Nobody thought that it was going to be as hard as it is, especially with the amount of people that wanted to be implemented into the max battle. So nobody was prepared. Nobody was powering up anything up. If they did, it only did whatever they like, or if they got any shinies here and there, and so on and so forth. So everybody was going with the simplest thing in the world, and nobody was understanding you need to use the max moves, you need to use the max spirit, you need to use the max scars. So unfortunately, yes, that side of the world got to be the guinea pigs for a while, and that's how everything started. Like, the negativity of it started growing because they weren't planning enough to know what it is. Now, each run of the Gigantanmax race had a 1 hour timer, so it's not like you couldn't not do it again and again until the timer ran out, and of course it just rotates to the next hour for the remainder of the weekend. Needless to say, it was a disaster beginning. It worked into everybody knowing that it was going to be hard, and how they were going to do it with minimal support or the maximum support out there. Once everybody's starting to figure out, okay, let's plan the teams. There's plan who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, who's gonna help us heal. Make sure you have power up Pokemon's past the initial starters or even the evolutions to 1500, 2000 CP or something like that. People were getting to that point, and once this actually reached us, we understood. Now, of course, we had 2 full days to really digest the Gigantamax mechanics and things like that. So it makes it understandable that a lot of people who were saying this is the worst thing that has ever been implemented in the game.
The worst.
Yeah, no, I that's basically what I've been hearing all over Twitter. And again, that's not just my words; it's everybody. Everybody has always saw this. Like, everybody was worried for a long, good day, 24 hours out there.
I'm surprised because people were saying the same thing when Mega Battles came out in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's saying like, and there's a comparison out there that I wanted to make, and I shared that to our Discord service and everything. We had the same issue when raids were introduced the first time around. Now, of course, the maximum amount of people that wanted to be in the raid definitely was lower than what it is right now on the max battles, but I remember going to a Tyranitar raid. I didn't find anybody in the community. We didn't even have a community established back in the day when raids were introduced. And all I saw was basically a Tyranitar I couldn't beat down with 4 people who didn't have the right counters or anything like that. So we didn't have the starters to power up. And by the time we actually got it done, we were either too tired or just didn't care enough. At the same time, over time, we started getting more people to actually come into our communities. We started establishing the community, knowing that the 4 stars and even the legendaries were going to be as hard as it was back in the day. So we had lobbies of 10, 15, 20 people every single time we had to do a brand new legendary Pokemon out there. And that was part of the community. We even had to split groups back in the day to understand what needs to be done between Valor, Mystic, Instinct, and all that. So Gigantanmax raids are kind of the equivalent of that. We're starting at level 1. We're starting at the bare minimum. There's nothing in the inventory right now that we can use that will actually give us an edge aside from the initial Dynamax Pokemons that we have caught. And everybody, no matter how much you're looking at it, is starting in the same level as what we had back in the day. We had no idea what was going on. We had to strategize. We had to get the community back together. All of that. It's something that has been lost in transition in the last 7 or 6 years of a lot of the different mechanics have been implemented in the game, especially after COVID. Once COVID was introduced, everything was at disarray when it comes down to the destruction of communities and things like that. Not destruction, but more like a way how they play the game and how people didn't want to use certain things if you can just go ahead and beat it down with 5 to 10 people online half the time, you know. So again, not batching to the way that there you go, paper good. Not batching anything that when it comes down to online communities, because you know there are strong communities too, and they have been shafted in the last few months or the last few years because of the whole nerfs and everything. But again, the final comparison that I want to make is that Gigantanmax raids will most likely be easier as time goes along, just like any other mechanic in this game. We just need to do more and more, even with the amount of people we actually get for the max battle days or anything like that. And once we start powering up things little by little, that's when things are going to get easier. Maybe we won't need 40 people or 10 lobbies of 40 once I don't know, Melmetal comes out into the game or something like that. And that's a legendary Pokemon. Actually, excuse me, that's a mythical Pokemon with a Gigantamax form. So I think the introduction to it was a disaster. Like, no lie, a full-on disaster. Mostly because first, you have 3 Gigantamax Pokemon introduced on the same weekend. And you had to take down all 3, so nobody had the perfect counters for any one of them. At first, once they started taking things down, that's when they started to say, okay, I need this more, and I need this, or maybe I'll be able to use this, because Gigantamax Pokemon do a little more damage since they have special moves in the end of the day. However, that still was one of those, like, okay, are we supposed to power this up or anything? I don't know. That depends on all the different factors. So knowing that the initial release of it was, instead of just one Gigantamax Pokemon this weekend and maybe the next one the next weekend, would have been a little more appreciated, because at least now we can deduce our resources into one specific counter instead of all 3 at once. And I think that's how a lot of people are saying we can't do this. We don't want to invest in something that's not going to help us in the near future. But just like anybody has said before, you can power up a Skarmory and still something can be worked on a raid or a PvP battle if you don't spend the resources for it. It might not be a big investment like now, but there's still something out there. Even powering up a Pokemon to level 25 to 30, not even close to 40 if you don't have the candies, you still are able to use the amount of candies and resources to know you can use that Pokemon in that specific battle. So if you've been doing max battles since they came out a month ago, that means that you have wanted to put the resources into something good. I got the Hondo Blastoise, but that doesn't mean that I wanted to power anything up. I was one of the problem. I didn't want to use my resources on something that I wasn't going to use over and over again. But then I realized, why am I hoarding all of this if I'm gonna have a bad time in the near future? Let me go ahead and use the resources that I have now. Well, in the end of the day, I'll just be able to get them back again. All the starters, all the candy. I get more experience when I do Dynamax Pokemon and all that. So it's something that we have to change the view on some of the trainers out there. Just because something is easier doesn't mean that it can be harder. And just because you're hoarding all those resources doesn't mean you cannot use them for something that's not doable at first, but it's going to help you to get something better in the future. That's the mentality of a lot of trainers. They just don't want to spend what they already have. Now, don't get me wrong. Some trainers do struggle because they do a lot of different things. Maybe they power up their Hondos. Maybe they power up their Shinies. Maybe they power up Pokemon for PvP. Things like that. Those are valuable resources that those people want to use on those specific mechanics. But that's the same thing with Gigantanmax Pokemons or even regular Dynamax Pokemons. If you don't have the counters for it, you're gonna have a bad time. Was I able to actually get a community together? Yes or no? I had somebody who actually was more in Campfire than I have in the last year or so. He actually created more of a group that I have to do their raid battles and things like that. He was able to communicate into Campfire, which thank God Campfire was there. They said, okay, we're gonna have a meetup, and up to 30 people showed up. 30 people RSP to the meetup. Everybody was saying it's like, yeah, I came from other side of town, or this part of town had this many people only, and we couldn't really do them. Some people were actually driving almost an hour away to raid with groups of 100 people. They were telling me they had 100 people in their max battles, and that was crazy enough as it is. Because we coordinated, we talked to people who were there, and we knew how things were already going because of everything that happened in the last 24 hours. We got to do 8 Gigantamax battles with almost no issues. Maybe 1 or 2 people were kicked out just because of some glitches or something. I even got kicked out of 1. And we only fainted once. But then we got it right after that. We had full lobbies of 40. We told people don't use their alts, because if you can, make sure that everybody was able to get there. And we did it. I got the first shiny of the max battles with Charizard, and my new buddy that he's gonna now help me out get the community back together for these kind of things. Then I got the shiny of the next one, there's the Venusaur that you guys saw. It's something that we were missing, and it was fun. Something that we haven't felt in a long time. It's actually getting the community, new people who either want to do this or don't want to do this, but at the same time they wanted to show up and be like, hey, we can try doing this. People didn't have all the optimal counters, but most of the people who were there actually did. And I met somebody who went to Hawaii for the Worlds for the first time. I never would have met him if things like that were happening. I would have met everybody who. Somebody in the group got a Shando. How do you not love those moments like this? The community can grow thanks to a mechanic like this if you allow it to grow with you. You have to be proactive with a community or a community you want to create. There's just nothing else after that. Maybe it will get easier. Maybe it will actually only require 10 people at best to make a Dynamax Pokemon. But then we're going to start getting legendaries. Then we're going to start getting every other Pokemon that can Dynamax in the game. Every Pokemon is capable of Dynamaxing. Not everybody can get a Gigantamax Pokemon. Maybe by the time we actually get to that point, we'll get more Gigantamax Pokemons. You never know. It's just that you have to make an effort to go out there, meet new people, and actually do something. I know a lot of people are going to be basically bitchy about it. Trust me. There's nothing wrong with being bitchy about the situation. It's not a good introduction to a brand new mechanic. It's just, I feel like there's more to it that people are just missing. They're missing the key piece, which is just the community. Now, rural players. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. Maybe you'll get a lucky trade with somebody and then you'll be able to actually start doing some in the future. You never know. But there's something out there for everybody, and this is something that can bring the community back. I have no doubts that there's something good in this whole thing. My rant is over. Chris, any more thoughts?
Yeah, I was very surprised they did all 3 Gigantamaxes at the first time for rollout. I think the rollout is really the biggest thing. Popping from 3 to 6. I did appreciate the 1-hour timers a bit for the fact that it adds more urgency to doing the raids.
Right.
So it kind of makes people go, oh, I need to hop in this raid like right now. But the sheer amount of them did make it tough to figure out where people wanted to meet up and everything.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think it was necessarily bad. Yeah, I do definitely think it's one that you have to figure out what the groups are gonna do. You can't just show up at a raid and expect people to hop in.
Yeah.
That would just be extremely lucky for that.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens, coming up. But Gigantamax, Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, they're gonna be back. So I'm not super worried about missing out on them for these past 2. They might not have the same shiny odds as they did today. I think that'd be a fair thing for them to not be, as shiny, but people are more ready for them the next time. So we'll see what happens. I think it definitely could have been handled better for sure, coming out.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really dropped the ball like they could have.
I'm gonna say one last thing. I think they could have done a whole lot of better introduction to the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
100%. Maybe rotating hours, something would have been a little bit easier.
Yeah. So which Gigantamax you're gonna get. I do agree with that.
Shiny odds were amazing. I think it's 1 in 10 that everybody was actually getting a shiny every now and then. Bro, I was still super surprised about the Shando that I saw today, because we were we were on the raid or on the max battle that we actually lost the first time. I got kicked out and Fern got kicked out. And then they couldn't do it, and I was like, okay, we'll do it again. And now we actually had the chance to beat it down, and then everybody started saying shiny, 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 shiny. So the last person to say shiny, I was like, cool. And then I was talking to some people who were like, okay, let's start to catch all the Blastoise and everything. And all of a sudden I hear that that moment, you hear it inside it, and I literally came from the direction of the person who last said the shiny. I turned back and I see her holding her phone, and I was like, did you just really get the Shando right there? Took a picture and everything too. Gosh. I was so ecstatic for her. It was such an amazing moment. It was her second Shando ever. And it's just I think the first one was a plus or something.
Oh my god.
So something like that, you don't get that just by sitting or doing things by yourself. You get it by experiencing it with the community, and that was so amazing to experience again. I loved it. Even with how things have gone and how the community is handling this, everybody has put together a way that they can do things. Yes, maybe it was a huge jump from the initial 3 stars that we are getting to a 6-star super max Pokemon out there. Is it doable? Yes. It's doable if you know what you're doing. Information is gonna come out as the days go along. We know more information now than we had in the last 24 hours, close to the 48 hours at this point. And now we can actually start planning things out for future events. So Gigantamax Gengar is the next one, and we'll talk about this in the news section today. All right. Again, no more here and there on that. I think I pretty much said all my thoughts, my pennies to this. I'm sure that we'll have more in the coming days, in the coming future. But I hope that the community starts getting things together now that they know that things are not going to be as easy as they used to be back in the day. So, all right, Chris, how about you start us off our news section here today? We're a brand new part 2 of the event.
All right. Oh yeah, dude. Love Halloween event in Pokemon Go. So we got a sneak peek of them for the paid research, but ghostly giants and costume companions. Uh, it's funny. Strong like Virtue was talking about it in chat.
Yep.
Gigantanmax, Gengar, and more are gonna debut during Pokemon Go's Halloween Part 2. It's gonna start October 28th. Which is going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. to Sunday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. Local time. It is something to note that there is going to be a daylight savings time.
Yes. So at least when it comes to the United States. Yeah, the United States. I'll check that out while you continue on there.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's November 3rd morning, but I could be wrong.
Yes, November 3rd.
Okay. Pokemon debut. We've already seen them, but it's going to be Froakie wearing a Halloween costume and Rowlet wearing a Halloween costume. What's cool is you're able to evolve these ones if you don't know already. And they're also shiny available. I know I saw one of the people that I'm friends with got the Hundo Froakie, and I thought that was super cool. Max battles. So Gigantamax Gengar, we're familiar with the Gigantamax. You know you're going to need big group. So be ready. It's going to be available in 6-star max battles from October 31st at 10 a.m. to November 3rd at 8 p.m. local time. It's a good thing some people grab some Gigantamax Blastoise because I think it might be the best choice to fight it because of the max darkness you can get from.
Yeah, if you give a Bite as his fast move, it will do max darkness. I mean, you can still use another Gengar, but they're going to be very fragile against it. So
that's true. Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I think that one's a really cool one. I love that shiny.
Oh yeah. Well, when it's Gigantamax at least.
Yeah, that nice white. Yeah. Normal Gengar. Oh my gosh. Event bonuses: 2 times candy for catching Pokemon. Increased chance to encounter shiny Zora in the wild. I thought Zora already had a really high shiny odd. So if it's getting higher for part 2, that's interesting.
I get it. I better get my shiny for this one. I don't give a damn about it.
Increased chance for trainers level 31 and up to receive candy extra large for successfully catching Pokemon with nice throws or better. I always try to get the great throws. It's just a nice, easy in between. Increased chance to encounter the following shiny Pokemon in raids: Gengar wearing a spooky festival costume. Yeah, your favorite shiny right there. Umbreon. Drifloon wearing a Halloween Mischief costume. Froakie wearing a Halloween costume. And Rowlet wearing a Halloween costume. It's interesting they're giving you higher shiny odds in raids, supposedly, for those ones. I might actually go after Rowlet and Froakie because of the increased shiny odds. Increased chance to hatch the following shiny Pokemon from eggs: Vulpix wearing a spooky festival costume, Pichu wearing a witch hat, and Froakie and Rowlet wearing the costumes are both going to be higher shiny odds in eggs too, apparently. On October 31st, costume Pokemon will have a small chance to give rare candy or rare candy extra large when caught with nice throws better. Think of it as a little trick-or-treat bonus.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a funny add-on they do.
The worst part of it is that it's actually a weekday, so it's gonna be hard to really send in if you have to work that day anyway. So,
oh my gosh,
or even school in that reason. Real quick, just to make sure. Actually, I wanted to point something out, and I know this is because it has happened in most times. Gengar wearing their spooky festival costume. We know that you can get them from raids. We know we can get them in the wild if they spawn in the wild. Will they also be part of Gigantamaxing? If the costume is part of the Gigantanmax when you catch it afterwards.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
We're gonna have to test that out once it starts coming out. I think it comes out on October 31st anyway. So
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was one of the cool things about mega raids during Halloween was they had mega, mega Gengar?
Yeah, most likely it was the only one with the custom with the mega, anyways.
Yeah, and you caught it and it had the costume, so you're getting like it was basically like you were doing two raids in one is how I would say.
Basically.
Like just like it felt like it had a lot going on. That definitely be interesting. One of the things I thought was cool is you catch like Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur in their Gigantamax forms. Like we don't catch the Megas in their Mega forms, so I thought it was super cool to like see people catching them because they got a lot going on when they're Gigantamax.
Oh yeah, and they're stronger to they're harder to catch anyways, but so.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that somehow negates the costume. I really hope not. I don't think it would, but I am a little bit weary about it. But yeah, no, I can definitely see it happening where it would still have the costume. That
Yep.
would make it a lot more fun, I think.
Oh yeah, that I would believe so too if it happens. So hopefully they do. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, Wild Encounters. Vulpix wearing a Spooky Festival costume. Shuppet. Piplup wearing a Halloween Mischief costume. Woobat. Zora, of course. Faroki wearing a Pokemon Halloween costume. Inkay. Phantump. Pumpkaboo wearing the Spooky Festival costume. And Rowlet wearing the costume. Some trainers will also encounter Pikachu wearing a witch hat. So I guess it's going to be a little bit more rare this year. So I don't even know why they put the asterisk for encountering shiny. I guess just so they couldn't say they left a stone unturned. But every single Pokemon there can be shiny.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot to hunt. The eggs for 7-kilometer eggs. The event Pokemon are going to be Vulpix wearing the costume, Pichu, Froakie, and Rowlet. A bunch of costume chances there. So honestly, not a bad idea to start hatching some 7-kilometer eggs if you want to get one of those shinies.
Yep.
Raids, 1-star raids. Pikachu wearing a witch hat, Froakie wearing a costume, and Rowlet wearing the costume. 3-star raids, Gengar wearing his costume, a regular Umbreon, and Drifloon wearing the costume.
I'm surprised they just give Umbreon something, like maybe their scarf back from like office or something.
Yeah. I guess they want to give it a little bit of time, I guess. But
I guess.
especially with the higher shiny chance. Oh my gosh. Free timed research. There's going to be an additional timed research that's going to be available, which it already came out.
Yeah.
October 22nd, and it's going to be available till November 3rd at 8 p.m. local time. If you haven't got it already, just log in and grab it. Try to get it done as fast as you can because it does give you Spiritomb.
I actually got this time research and I got the custom Pokemons and they were crap, so I just deleted them. Even the new ones, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. Actually, I did care, but I forgot to start them.
So the new ones, just because I was like, oh, how rare are they going to be? It doesn't look like they're going to be that rare.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of ways to actually I tame them, so that's gonna be good.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to get at least one of the two shinies, either Froakie or Rowlet. I love both of them though, so whichever one I get, or both, I think I'll be happy. So you can complete all of them. It also gives you more Pico if you haven't got that yet. So I do recommend trying to get through that if you can. The paid timed research, we already did it I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And we might have already talked about it, but it
Yeah.
has a few of the costume Pokemon in it if you didn't know.
So the $5 and the $2 time research have been part of the events is part one. So we already had that information from last episode podcast. So if you guys want to just check that out, that's great. If not, just go to the website. You'll get more information about it anyways.
Yeah. Definitely a good way to get some extra encounters if you're worried about it. Field research task encounters. These are going to be available Pikachu, Vulpix, Piplup, Froakie, Rowlet, all in a costume. And also more Pico and Spiritomb. If you're lucky, you'll get Spiritomb. So, keep your eyes peeled for those researches. Some field research tasks will also give you Mega Energy. So Gengar, Houndoom, Sableye, Bayonet, and Absol are going to be out there with their Mega Energy. There's going to be some new avatar items and stickers. A Halloween Finery, Woobat Top Hat. Oh my gosh. And obviously both of the more Pico onesies are out and about.
Mm-hmm.
That little cape is pretty fire though. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
gonna lie.
100%.
The little spooky stickers they have with Froakie and Rowlet attacking are really cute.
Yeah.
Lavender Town music is back, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Explore with decor. Yeah, we already talked about the different stuff on the map, like the orange Pokestops. And there's going to be a ton of showcases out. Keep an eye for when they end, what's in them, and try to get those number one spots, except in the ones that we're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so Halloween Part 2 basically just an addition to what we already have from Part 1. There is some new information actually because this event is already happening in other parts of the world. So we actually have. Let me just make sure that we can actually get that information here for you guys. All right, so all those things that we already mentioned in the blog post, there is the field research task that you can do. Continuing from the last one, of course, win 2 raids will give you a Peko, and win 3 raids will give you a Spiritomb. Only being able to get 2 of those Spiritomb quests, and I just finished my first one, and then I just gotta go the other one now. But now you have catch 10 Pokemons for the Pikachu, Vulpix, and the Piplup with their costumes. You can also evolve 3 Pokemon tasks and get the Froakie or Rowlet. So it's not that hard to do, really. They're not actually locking it up in a way that says, oh, you gotta hatch like 3 eggs or something like that, and then you get the guns from there. Of course, the shiny chances for Gengar, Umbreon, and Drifloon in their 3-star raids, and then everything else on that in there. So not a bad thing. You can also get Mega Energy for a lot of the Pokemons out there. So if you catch 15 Ghost or Dark types for that quest, I like it. I mean, it's not too bad. I'm probably gonna stick with the win 3 race for a little bit, but if I get any Evolve 3 Pokemons, I gotta remember not to trash them. So
yeah, even if you have Shiny Spiritomb already, like me, you still want more.
Oh man. But yeah, that is part 2 of the Halloween event. Definitely something to be excited about. Gigantanmax Gengar. Now that I know that we can get something good out of this, we're already planning to do it next Sunday. Or we're hoping that we're gonna get the community back together. Luckily, it's only 1 Pokemon. It's not all 3. It's not that we have to. We can finally plan out our Pokemons, what we're gonna have. My Blastoise is definitely gonna get Max Darkness pretty soon. So.
Yeah, I'm curious if the. Oh no, it's gonna be after. Okay. Yeah. The thing we're talking about next, I was curious if we'd be able to use one of the Pokemon for that for Gengar, but he'll be a little bit later.
Yeah. So Chris kind of alluded to this, but we do have the next burst of news here, and that is introducing Max Mondays every week from here on out. So mark your calendars. Max Monday starting on November 11 at 2024. Okay, so this is actually happening way after everything that happens during the Halloween. So too bad, too sad, I guess. Also, I completely forgot that we have our November dump of news, so I'll get that going when I get there. For 1 hour every Monday evening, a different featured Dynamax Pokemon will take over all Max spots at Power Spots. Check out the details to know. So Max Mondays every Monday is starting on November 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. November 11, we'll have Dynamax Charmander. November 28, we have Dynamax Dribble. I can't say the name for a while. And that's because it is a brand new Dynamax Pokemon coming into the power spots. November 25th, we'll have Dynamax Bulbasaur. And December 2nd, we'll have Dynamax Squirtle. If you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. Max out your chances of victory with Campfire, so you can go through Campfire to see. I'm not gonna show the whole thing, unfortunately, because I don't want you guys to dox me. But if you actually go to a community ambassador program or a community out there, they will help you out. They'll probably be like, hey, we want to do this Max Mondays and everything. What are your thoughts on this, Chris? Adding one more thing to the already pool of things that we do out through the week.
It's definitely something that's welcome. I think all of the max battles being the same thing is something that definitely benefits everyone, in my opinion. If you're trying to hunt a specific Pokemon. Something I'm curious about for the Max Out Mondays kind of thing is if they're going to have increased shiny odds or anything. It doesn't say anything about that, so I kind of doubt it. But even if they don't, it still makes it easier to shiny hunt the Dynamax Pokemon that you want to get. So, happy hunting. I think they're definitely preparing people for harder raids like Gigantamax Pokemon to take place on Mondays.
It does kind of suck that we get Dribble after Gengar.
Yeah,
that would have been a good counter.
Thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, Drillbur would be pretty good for Gengar too.
But, probably be the best counter to it, yeah. I mean, once he evolves, I think it's a Steel type too.
Yes.
Piper out in the chat is saying it's like, don't mess with Thursday, it's a shower day. Yeah. At this point, we'll have something to do every day of the week if they keep it just things like that. We already have now the introduced Max Mondays. We have Spotlight Tuesdays, Raid Hour on Wednesdays. Like we're just missing Thursday and Friday at this point, and then we're locked in for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that's going to start happening is people are going to get a lot more FOMO.
Oh yeah.
We got Raid Hours on Wednesdays and now this. So. All I can say is do what makes you happy. You don't need to do everything.
Yes. I mean, I usually skip the spotlight hours on Tuesdays, unless it's something that I really want to do. Raid hour is usually been my niche every single time because I do want to get more of the community to go out and do raids every single time.
It's so good to get really easy shiny hunting. Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't hate the Mondays. I just don't want to spend the very first day of the week to actually have to go hunt something. Luckily, it's only starter Pokemons and first stage Pokemon or 1-stars Dynamax battles. So
yeah, it should be 1-stars.
Yeah, so you can basically just do it easily anytime. You don't have to have a community together. You don't have to plan out together. I don't know if the Dribble is going to be a 1-star or a 3-star at this point, but that would be cool if it's just a 1-star anyways. And then one last thing, of course, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle having something like this when we already have Gigantamax forms out there. It's kind of like, okay, can they also have the chance to Gigantamax if we do catch them in their base forms? That would be kind of nice if they added that, so we don't have to do so many Gigantamax forms in the future or something like that. But I know they probably won't just because of the way that they released this, so it is how it is. I'm still missing a shiny out of the regular Dynamax Pokemon anyway, so maybe something to do anyways. All right, well, not a too bad of an experience when it comes down to a brand new way of playing the game now. But we have something harvesting pretty soon. So adventures abound during the Harvest Festival event in Pokemon Go. Another event through the month of November, yeah. And we're talking about all this, but we'll also have a dump of news here in just a moment, guys. So starting on Thursday, November 7 at 10 a.m. from Tuesday, November 12 at 8 p.m. local time, we'll have an event bonuses of 2 times candy for catching Pokemons, increased chance of encountering shiny Pumpkaboo, if you already don't have Pumpkaboo in your inventory, Musculars modules will attract different Pokemon throughout the event, such as Alolan Secretary, Snorlax, Pumpkaboo, and the now shiny Smoliv, if you're
Bruh.
lucky. Pokeball attracted to Musculars will have a higher chance of being supersized Pokeball than those found in the wild. So if you want your XX large Pokeballs, this is your chance. Wild encounters, and again, for the first time ever, shiny Snowville will be appearing in Pokemon Go if you're lucky. Oddish executes Hoppit, Sunken, Milkton, Six Lagoon, Benilby, small size Pokemon, average, large Pokeball in Smallville. And of course, some players may even get the super size Pokeball. What's the difference? Is it gotta be like a huge one, like a really big one or something?
Oh yeah. It's so you know how they got XXS, small, regular, and then they got large. The super size is just the XXL.
Okay. No, that's the same thing anyways. Event field research tags will be available. The following Pokemon will be able to complete field research tags. Pokeball and Smallville will be there, so that's pretty nice. And the Pokeballs you encounter in the field research can be any size, so it doesn't matter there. $2 pay time research, or equivalent to your local currency. The time research will include the following: 2 Muscular modules, pretty nice, 1 instance, 1 lucky egg, and encounters with Smallville. Nice. Not bad for a $2 event. Collection challenges.
Yeah, if it's a shiny you want.
Yeah, well, I know there's one person online that I know that's definitely going to hunt really hard when this event comes out. Eventing collection challenges are coming. Receive Stardust or even encounters with Smallville. That's pretty cool. Showcases will be teen eventing Pokemon, and the web store will have his, best deals out there. I mean, it's nice. It's been a while since I think it's been quite a bit since we got a new shiny release in Pokemon Go in the last few weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Smallville is nice. It wasn't what I was expecting, but still pretty nice regardless.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the last new Pokemon shiny was. Oh my gosh.
If anybody in the chat can actually tell us, that'd be great. I know that somebody out there has more information than I do on top of my head.
Because I mean, there's plenty of costume ones in the Gigantanmax that they came out with recently, but I'm trying to think of the new Pokemon. Oh well.
1 second here so you guys can see that too. Well, more of you, Chris. All right, so real quick, how about you tell us about the monthly November dump of news? I just shared the link there. Yeah. I was like, da.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at that big Dynamax Rober. So a few Pokemon they're showcasing for November just to get you hyped up is Regieleki, Regidrago, and Dynamax Drober. We can't get them shiny yet for the Regis, but if you missed out on them before, now's your chance to grab them.
Mm-hmm.
For the Dynamax Pokemon, there's going to be the 3 Kanto starters and the 3 starters from Gen 8.
Galar.
The Galar. I was blanking for a second. We already talked about what the Max Mondays will be, but if you want to grab, the 3 Galar starters, they're going to be out until December 3rd, so just grab them at your leisure. For 5-star raids, November 4th until November 18th, we're going to have a Lugia again. Oh my gosh. Dialga and Palkia in their origin form are going to be back November 18th to the 27th. Very excited for that. Obviously, they got their shiny chance. And also, Zacian is going to be coming back already November 27th to the December 3rd. Same with Zamazenta for that date. And Regieleki and Regidrago are also going to be November 27th to December 3rd. So that is a very interesting pool.
Yes.
So Lugia is also going to know Aeroblast when you catch it, which is a very, very strong flying type attack. Very good for it to have that. And something to note too is the Dialga and Palkia captured from raids between November 18th and November 24th will have the signature adventure effect move of Roar of Time and Special Run.
They'll have a
Um,
chance.
oh, a chance.
Mm.
Oof.
Now, I don't know if this was actually a blog post mistake or something like that. It does say that you, of course, you get the chance of encountering one with the special move at that point, but it says only until the 24th.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, so if you want the special moves, get them early, and then maybe just raid it those last 3 days for the extra large candy.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those.
Extra. Read all
Do,
about it.
do remember the origin forms are a little hard to do, so make sure you are ready with some good counters. So
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to raid some more Palkia though.
yeah, I need the 100.
Mega, yeah, both of us. For Mega raids, there's going to be Mega Manetric November 4th until November 11th, and then after that, Mega Salamence will pick up November 11th to November 18th. Mega Beedrill is going to be November 18th until the 27th. Mega Ampharos is going to be November 18th until the 27th. So both of them. And Mega Altaria is going to be the 27th until December 3rd. I think it's a nice variety. And they also, just to keep in mind, they each change at 10 a.m. on those days. So you could pick up a few of them early in the morning. If you're lucky, if you're running late. Shadow Suicune will be what's going to be appearing for the month of November in Shadow raids for legendaries. So if you need that, get out and about. And I think that is it.
Nope,
For
you got a little
the,
more.
Oh yeah, I always forget about
Hmm.
but the November 2nd to November 30th is going to be Go Battle Weekend. 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. We already talked about the Harvest Festival that's going to be taking place. The November Community Day is going to be November 10th, so mark your calendar, 3 p.m.
Mankey.
to 5 p.m. Mankey. Oh yeah, this is probably one of the reasons we're getting Drillbur Dynamax. November 15th to the 17th is simply groundbreaking is what they call the event.
Okay.
10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then November 18th to the 22nd into the wild, 12:01 a.m. until 11:59. I'm interested they don't put it as 12 a.m.
There's definitely going to be something interesting about that event, and mostly
Oh,
because it's the one before what you're about to talk. So
yeah, I thought this was it. November 23rd to November 24th, Pokemon Go Wild Area Global.
Woo.
10 a.m. to 6:15 p.m. Definitely excited for that. I want to see Toxtricity. I want to see it right now.
Well, yeah, and we're actually gonna have that, and we're gonna have to get the community going for Gigantanmax ones.
Oh baby, at least that one's like weak to everything.
I know, right?
November 27th until December 1st, Max Out finale. You know they're gonna be doing something crazy. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah, I think that looks like a lot of fun. The spotlight hours, a lot of bugs. Surskit, Surskit, November 5th, will have 2 times transfer candy. Smoliv is going to be getting one. November 12th, 2 times evolution XP. If you're evolving, make sure your Go Plus is going, I guess. Teddy
Or
Ursa.
the other way around because you really want to get shiny Smallville anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anybody's really going to be evolving.
No, definitely not.
Teddy Ursa, November 19th, 2 times catch Stardust. That's a good one for Ursulina. Combi, November 19th, 2 times catch Stardust. Get your female Combies. Joltik, November 26th, 2 times catch XP. And of course, those are only 6 to 7. Oh, wow, interesting. During raid hours in November, trainers will receive 1 guaranteed rare extra candy extra large when catching Pokemon from in-person 5-star raids.
That's pretty good. I think we're gonna have to do a raid hour every single week, every single week now.
Yeah, I'm interested because there's a few Pokemon in here we didn't talk about when we were talking about the
Oh
raid
yeah.
things. They have raid hours for Lugia November 6th, Lugia for November 13th, and then I see Nihelgo for
Oh, the
November
19th and the
19th
20th. So it's not
and
a
Tapu
Wednesday raid
Koko
hour.
20th. Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
gonna be the week before the wild area. So they're probably
So,
giving us other raid hours at the time.
yeah, so Niheljo is Tuesday and Tapu Koko is the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dialga and Palkia are Thursday and Friday?
Oh God. I know.
Interesting. Well,
I
at least
mean,
we get for them.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the Algan Pack. Yeah, I don't really care about Night Hello and
I
Tapu
do
Koko at
as
this
well.
point. Yeah, it's 21st and the
Zacian
22nd.
and oh my gosh, all four of them? Zacian, Zamazenta, Regieleki, and Regidrago for the 27th. That is going to be weird.
Oh my God.
I
What?
really hope, yeah, I hope they're not all in 5 stars.
Uh, I'm sorry. Did you repeat that statement?
I hope they're not all in 5 stars. I hope there's like a different type of egg for Regieleki and Regidrago.
Oh my
If
God.
that's something.
I don't think they're going to actually do something like Elite Race for them,
No, it's
especially
just
because they're already been
weird.
out.
It's
Dude,
just so
that
weird,
I
man.
was hoping to actually get a good Samacenta because I haven't actually got the shiny for Samacenta, and the 27 is about
Same.
Wednesday. So, oh my God, I planning that raid hour is going to be a hell. And that is Niantic. If you're listening to this, I want you to do one thing: don't let other eggs populate before raid hour. I swear to God, if we
Especially
have
splitting it between 4.
that's what I'm saying. If you're splitting against 4 different raids on one Wednesday for only 6 to 7, and I have to fight to get my shiny Samacenta or shiny Station, and I have to look at Regieleki spawning in the same egg, stop. Just stop. Anyways, but yeah, so it really packed November, and it's not even the end of the year. So, oh my God. And of course, we are only 2 months away from the end of the year. So if we're going to even have more packed events and then we're off to the races again for next year, there's going to be a lot of things we're definitely going to be talking about more in the ends of in the coming days. But yeah, that's insane. That was more packed than I expected. And I was not expecting until you started reading that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm looking at him like,
So I know some of the people who do coordination in our Discord and Campfire here. Make sure that we are ready for this. We're gonna have to actually if you really want to do Station and Samacenta. I'm not touching Regidrago or Lucky until they're shiny. So
I might do one of each or something. It's definitely not one I'm gonna be rating hard though. It needs to be shiny.
yeah. So all right, well, a really packed November. And definitely something that is gonna be a hell. I got a lot of things going on next month. It's gonna be tough. Anyways, the one last thing that we're part of the news, we have a 2024 community update. This is benefiting mostly the community ambassador program. So we're excited to share a number of new benefits to attendees or for attending community meetups, and as well as updates to our community ambassador program. So the updates to the program says the Community Ambassador Program has been growing swiftly since its launch 2 years ago, welcoming 800 trainers from over 30 countries into the program. That's a lot. Over 1.9 million players have checked in into Campfire events this year, joining fellow trainers in the communities to celebrate Pokemon. We believe in the incredible power that our community has harnessed to do good, which is why we are working with a community ambassador to hold charity events, such as donation drives and park cleanups across the globe during the November Community Day. You can find out what local community is planning by checking Campfire to the closest events and look and applying to the program yourself. We may actually get a good community ambassador program here in this area. where I'm actually working with somebody who we talked to recently. We're still nothing solid yet, but we may either have it before or after this program change afterwards. So we'll figure it out when we get there. Special check-in rewards. So starting on November, so Community Day, trainers who checked in via Campfire app to a community ambassador program or club Campfire event will now receive a time research that is only for those sponsored community events. This time research will allow you to choose a focus to match your interests, raids, battles, socializing, or catching, and it will include special Pokemon encounters and items to help you while playing. You can now also earn an in-game medal by joining community ambassador events. Check in and play with your local community to earn the medal, then level it up by attending events. Upcoming GMAX events on October 26th to the 27th and October 31st and November 1st will also reward you with 800 max particles for checking in and joining your community to take down these Gigantanmax or gigantic challenges. So
it's like getting a remote, well, not a remote breed. It's like getting a
free pass.
A raid pass right there.
Yeah.
For checking in.
That is insane. Actually, that is a good change. I actually like what they're doing with this. So I'm hoping that we can get that going. If not, I'm probably going to start actually driving for community day events or things like that. So I would not be surprised.
It's definitely a good incentive.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think it's a great addition to the program. Definitely things that we would like to see more, because in the end of the day, this is how communities are built. We just need to know how to build them right. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it on the news. And I think we went over a little more than I expected to be. Do we got anything for a PvP section? Get good, get right, Chris. I'm pretty sure you haven't done any GBL, haven't you?
No.
Okay. I know there was a regional. Let me see if I can get that going real quick. So the Play Pokemon event or Pokemon Go, maybe PvP Poke can help me here. Let's see. Oh, also there is an update to the remix band. I know that remix is remix still going right now. Let me just check that real quick. Yeah, Great League remix. So thanks to a couple of community members out there, we actually are updated the remix battle the week basically. So before we had a lot of the Pokemons from the previous remix, and that was of course stronger Pokemons, but because of the changes that recently happened since the introduction of the max out and everything, now brand new Pokemons are in the top meta, and they have banned those for the remix. So make sure you're aware of that when it comes down to it. Let's see. So Louisiana regionals happened a couple weekends ago, and again, we really didn't cover it just because of everything was happening, so I do apologize. Top 12 Pokemons: Dunsparce, Clodsire, Azumarill, Feraligatr, Shadow. What's the evolution of Inkay?
Malamar.
Malamar, thank you. Superior, a bunch of other ones, of course. And then looks like, who was the winner there? I cannot tell you right now.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. I'll get more information here if I can get to the Play Pokemon events, I think. Yeah. There's just been a lot of stuff out there. Is this... No, this is the EU Season in Lily Regional Championship. So that was another weekend, actually, not too long ago. The Lily... Is that Lily or the other one? I don't remember. What's the Louisiana Regionals, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, there we go. Louisiana Regionals, it's there. Is this for Pokemon Go? Yes, that is Pokemon. So I know Wage won the Baltimore ones, and then Lyle Jeff the third won the Louisiana Regionals for the North American one. So that's pretty nice. And if you're interested in the European one, we do have another winner in the European one. Boom 20 for the Lily European Championships, regional championships. So that's pretty nice. Also had in the Dortmund one, Camix 33. So that's pretty nice. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else that we got to cover, Chris?
Not that I can think of. Definitely loaded with news for this week.
Yeah, I'm tired anyways. It's been a long day. Getting everything organized for Gigantanmax was one thing. I'll just say this to close it out real quick. It's like, play as you want to play. If it's not something that you want to do just because of how difficult it is, that's fine. Eventually, and again, eventually, things get a lot easier as the days go along.
Yeah, don't get FOMO, because it's going to be a lot more understood and a lot easier, I think, for people to fight Gigantamax raids in the future. I think it's going to be a lot more streamlined.
Yeah. Although I still like the ability to get the community together to beat down these bosses. We're going to have a bunch of other Pokemons Dynamaxing. We're going to have a bunch of other Pokemons Gigantamaxing. So I know that for as much as we want to, I know things are going to be like this for a little bit until we...
Honestly, Toxtricity is going to be great for fighting all three of the Kanto Gigantamaxes. So,
yeah,
they're eventually going to come back, and if you get a Toxtricity, they should beat them all down.
Well, that's why you also make sure you get your Dribblets right before that happens, because Dribblets is going to be a amazing counter against any toxicities out there. So, but yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. Make sure you check out our social media for anything Pokemon related or anything Pokemon Go related. The Purified Podcast, Twitter, or X, I should say. Pure Letter Go for myself. And then Pokemon Trigger Please, PKMN Trigger Please with a C at the end. Don't forget to check us out in any of the podcast services fees out there: Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon. Yeah, basically those, and then more, of course. There's a lot of catchers out there that we are into. You can even join us on YouTube. I think I have it listed on YouTube, unless the episode hasn't come out. I'm not sure. And then you can also join our regular Discord. We don't really talk too much in there, but if you want to reach us pretty easily, that's what we're there for. But you can also join the Pokemon Professor Discord for as $1 a month in the patreon.com/Pokemon Professor. Definitely something that we love to be part of and make sure that, everything that works through that in the end of the day. Email us anything to the purifiedpodcast@gmail.com. You can also just share something on Twitter and tag us in. That'd be amazing. And don't forget to check us out at the PokemonProfessor.com or purifiedpodcast.com. With that being said, Chris, it's time to take us away for the night.
All right. Man, I'm still thinking about when as the Pokeball turns came in and was pretend to be me. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fabulous Halloween. Be safe, have fun. If you dress up or anything, I hope you guys just have a fabulous time all together. But we'll get you guys next week with even more news. And hopefully we got a lot of exciting stuff to tell you like we did this week. I definitely think we will. But peace out for now, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Keep purifying them, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.